Okay. Oh, wow. So I know we was talking about children. So we talking about children. Was it a card or something like that? Don't we have to contact you?
Oh,
Why do I need your number?
Yeah. No. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what it's gonna come to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna come.
So we stay here for a minute and
Yeah,
then
in my mind, because we were talking about. Yeah. Let me think.
All right, man.
No, I know.
I ain't going away soon. Let the Lord take me away.
Oh man, I tell you the wrong one.
I'll look. Yeah. That's the one I put down.
Oh, it was. You good today? You good? You just do it too. No, I'm
Yeah. Right there, you'll take a lunch and chair.
What's the say this? Wait. Okay. Is that cool? You for real? None of that thing. You got black. In Africa, you got the song too. You know, like you know what it's popping like.
We say Waba, which is welcome and treat. And we're so happy that those who are do in terms of ritual and belief. And so I'm going to first do some breathing exercises, and then we're going to do what I was instructed to do. And what that basically is we're going to shift our seating arrangement. So be man, woman, man, woman, man, woman. And then we were going to speak well to the lives of who we are partners with. And the reason why I'm saying it is because the female and the male energy in this country, so much negativity, and a lot of it is not even ours. You know, something that people baited us with, we've taken it on and become our worst enemy. The ancestors say they want to clean that, that there's work we have to do. We cannot do it if we are burdened with heavy laden with other people's messages, even ours. So first we're going to do the breathing. You can stay in the seat where you are now. And then after that is completed, we're going to do the affirmations on the partner. And I don't want male, male, female, female, male, female, male, female, so that the energy can be dispersed equally. So if you would just get yourself comfortable, remove anything that's in your lap, and rest your hands in your lap. Feet flat on the floor. And we're going to do several cleansing breaths. Count three, we'll inhale. 1, 2, 3, inhale. Exhale. We inhale, breathing in the life, the God, inhale. And release, releasing in everything that is not our highest. Breathing in the truth and strength again. And then we're releasing everything that has been toxic in our lives from fathers, that our mothers. Breathing in strength and fortitude. Exhaling out anything that hinders us. Releasing your breath. We thank God for being present. We thank the ascended ancestors for being in our midst. And we thank the divine angelic beings for protection. And we embrace all that is good and righteous. We embrace that is enabling us to run this race successfully. And we embrace unity amongst ourselves. And we Healing, healing, healing. So you bring your consciousness back to this awareness. Now I'm going to have the sisters stand on the front. There we go. And stand behind you, brother. What's your name, brother?
Abu.
Abu? Okay. We're going to send you like something like that. And then I want, because black women have always stood beside black men, despite what we are hearing people say about it. So this will be a symbol that we're standing with you all, that we're standing and we're speaking well of you. So those things that we speak will come to pass. When we finish that, we want you to begin to affirm and speak over us. You ready? And I'll put it as an exercise demonstration. Okay? But once we start, it's going to be a little quieter so they can hear something that they may not want anybody else to hear. So we'll go ahead. I decree over you today, Lord. but didn't have the energy to move on. What is gave the energy? And so I just encourage everyone to speak to be friends with one another. Even if you see it, even what you see with us is the opposite. Let's continue to raise the vibration for the week. Okay? Share while Bob comes up to the stage. Good afternoon, my name is Joanne, and I'm going to share some of my story. In 2022, well, first of all, and then I was always teaching, but I never paid it no mind because I was in a condition of religion. So anyway, so the year 2022, I went to read the Bible and considered that it's more than what's in this book. And I was like, oh, Jesus. So as time went on, I decided to do a lot of research about indoctrination, about religion. And so I found out that suicide, and it really hurt me real bad, and I began to cry about it because I thought what I was believing it was true. So as time went on, I was a caregiver for six years, and I came into that position and had got my own apartment. And then when I got my apartment, I was so used to taking care of everybody. And then I got my apartment. I was like, okay, I'm excited to have my apartment. And then I got my apartment. I was in isolation. You know, I was like, it's my cell phone working, nobody's around. So as time went on, I got real depressed for anxiety, and I had a nervous breakdown. And it did last year, and I had to go to shut it down because everything is felt, everything is gone, everything. And I couldn't tell my family because they didn't understand what I was going through. So as time went on, balance and what was my journey, because I refused to give up on the Most High. I refused to give up on the Most High. I refused to give up on me. So to say all this, that we will always go through something, but it's to help us build ourselves up, and I didn't know that. And the Most High taught me, say, what I want you to do, what I want you to start loving yourself, being true to yourself. So as time goes on, I can get strength and learn new things. And I was saying, y'all teach me how to teach me where I can come to fellowship. So like last month, I'm over to Everbright. And so I looked and I say, you guys, I'm on. So that's why I'm here, and I just wanted that. What's your name? Yeah. Camille and your husband, I'm not. I want you to be resilient, and y'all put the back on the community, and don't get lost in community and friends. But I so thank you for hearing my story. I'm going to contribute and acknowledge our answer.
Finding out my penalty, peace and love. First of all, violation is the ritual. And the purpose of ritual is to create harmony between the human world and the world of created.
creators, the ancestors, and the, as our ancestor Maya Angelou has said often, the greatest gifts are the blessings of the past. So let us thank those who came before us. You hear me say, I say, which is your word, meaning it is done, so be it. You simply second any motion and say, right now I'm going to honor the musician ancestor. We now pour to our ancestor Leon Thomas, whose distinctive throat singing was based on his knowledge of African throat articulation. He was co-author of Pharaoh Sanders, created as a master plan, who penned the words to the song Energy of the Sun. The sun is love itself because it gives light. No matter how important it is, the same sun you see, I see. In fact, you can't see without light. That's the first light. And what a delight it is through all eternity. All you gotta do is let it shine on you. We ask his ancestors to be with us, to bless us, renew us, struggles ahead, I say. We now pour to our ancestor, Mr. God Supreme himself, the giant innovative saxophonist, John Coltrane, who said the main thing a musician would like to give is a picture of the listener of the many wonderful things he knows of, and senses in the universe. We ask his ancestor to be with us, to bless us, and to renew us with the struggles ahead, I say. Or to the innovative bebop pioneer saxophonist Charlie Parker, who famously quipped, music is our own experience, our own thoughts, your wisdom. If you don't live it, it won't come out of your home. They teach you there's a boundary line to music. They teach you there's a boundary line to music, but man, there's no boundary line to art. We ask this ancestor to be with us, to bless us, and renew us for struggles ahead, I say. We now pour to Baltimore's own unique vocal talent, Lady Day, the great Billie Holiday, who chimed, you can't copy anybody and end with anything. If you copy, it means you work without any real feeling. She sang the blues, didn't she? She sang the blues. Love is just like a faucet. It turns on and off. Sometimes when you think it's on, it turns off and gone, baby. We ask this ancestor to be with us. Bless us and to renew us and struggle ahead. I feel we pour now to another musical genius, the masterful pianist, Thelonious Monk, who remarked, I say play your own way. Don't play what the public wants you to play. You play what you want. Let your public pick up whatever you're doing, even if it takes them 15 to 20 years. Ask his ancestors to be with us, bless us, and renew us for struggles ahead. Report from ancestor Mary Lou Williams, jazz pianist, arranger, and composer, who wrote hundreds of compositions who stated, many people forget that jazz, no matter what form it takes, must come from the heart as well as the mind. We ask his ancestors to be with us, to bless us, renew us for struggles ahead, I say. Now pour to the avant-garde composer Julius Hemphill, specialized in alto saxophone, and founded the much-respected World Saxophone Quartet. When asked what motivates him to compose, he said, well, basically I do like Marvin Gaye said. If I'm horny, I write some horny music. If I'm getting divorced, I write some getting divorced music. I figure out what kind of tune goes with that feeling, that's all. We ask this ancestor to be with us, bless us, and to renew us the struggles ahead. Now to pour to another genius jazz pianist, prolific composer and leader of his self-titled orchestra, Mr. Duke Ellington, who chimed, create and be true to yourself. Create and be true to yourself, and depend only on your own good taste. In his music, his signature tune was Take the A Train. Maybe remember Take the A. Dun, 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 dun.
you all know, Brother Curtis is not here, so I'll fill it in for him. So I believe time for any audience participation. If anybody has something they would like to offer, come on up now and share with us. Good afternoon, everybody. Since Mama Scott was on the path of sharing and working together, I thought this might be a good time for us to just kind of get out what we talk about, that we're about. I say we're about virtues of my eyes and then Jesus out. So we can just do a little call response and follow me and we'll just kind of remind us ourselves. Each and every one of us are. So we are an African people. We are an African people. We choose to follow.
We choose to
follow the virtues of Maya.
the virtues of Maya,
The principles of the Nguza Saba.
the principles of the Umoja Maakheru,
As the guiding principles of our life.
as the guiding principles of our life.
The virtues of Maya.
The virtues of Maya,
Balance, harmony, and order.
balance, harmony, and order,
Truth, justice, and righteousness.
truth, justice, and righteousness,
Reciprocity and propriety.
reciprocity, and propriety,
And the value system of the Nguza Saba.
and the value system of the Umoja Maakheru.
I say Umoja
Umoja
means unity.
means unity.
Kujichagulia
Kujichagulia
is self-determination.
self-determination.
Ujima
Ujima
is collective work and responsibility.
is collective work and responsibility.
Ujamaa
Umoja Maakheru,
cooperative economics.
cooperative economics.
Nia,
Yeah,
big purpose.
purpose,
Kuumba,
Umoja,
creativity.
creativity,
Imani
Imani,
is faith.
is faith,
Faith in our blackness.
faith in our blackness,
Faith in being African.
faith in being African,
Faith that we can love one another
faith that we can love one another
and work in unity
and work in unity.
around values. Let's pull it together, y'all.
How you bad doing? You good? My size goes going over you, so we're gonna do a little breathing exercise. Everybody. All right, so the first one we're gonna do is for the lungs, okay? So we're doing a lung sound, all right? So the lung sound will very easy. Hey. Yeah, you got it. All right. Hey, friend, all right. So we're gonna be moving like this. So put our hands on lung. Now I want you to smile if you love. Show your lung if you love. Appreciate what you do. And oxygen that knock out outside. Now I want you to smile at both lungs. Smiling, like smiling meditation. Smiling very, very strong. Again, as you breathe hands on this, that's it. Down here. Bend. And if you chin and push up, go. Come down. Somebody got a loss, so that's good. All right, breathe in again. All right. One at a time. Breathe in. So the six feeling sounds, we're gonna do two. We're doing this one for the kidney. Kidney is the back kidney. So we're gonna bring energy to our kidney first. Rub. So we're gonna rub. The heat gets to our hands. We're gonna hold our breath. Then we're gonna touch our kidney. And then we're gonna shoot that energy straight into the kidney. All right. All right, imagine that. You got it? All right. Okay. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Put them in the back. Now imagine the energy shooting to your kidney. Shooting straight into your kidney. Do it 3 times. Ready? Hold your breath. Good. One and a half. All right. Say yin yang.
Yin yang.
Break the legs a little bit if you can. You can't stay up high. Mom, stay up high. Oh, you can say that. All right, I just let you get your, yeah, it's something like 4 seconds. All right, right here, but you don't have to get it right. Yeah. All right, so at this point, have your right hand to your left shoulder, right hand to your left shoulder, and just move your waist. Your arm moves automatic. All right, look, turn the hand around, and let it go down. Bring it over, and up, follow the hand. So you shift the weight and down. Shift over, bring energy up and back and down. This is waving hands like that. So now take the other hand, put it underneath the bottom, and let it pop. Back, pull the energy in. Breathe, coordination. Back, yeah. Back, and just go. Push. And back. Now, both hands come up together. Breathe in and breathe out. The body makes the sound of release by itself. You go in and say, you make it by itself. All you see is breathe in, breathe it out. One last one. Breathe in, breathe it out. This time, ladies, left hand on the top right. Left hand, yes, the other left. Left right. Men, right hand, top left. For your neighbor. All right, close your eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax your mind, your body. As you breathe in, it's a small ball. Gathering, you go down to by your table. Ball is spinning. Ball turns to red as you breathe in. The ball gets big. You breathe out, the ball gets small. Concentrating on the breath as the breath breathe in. Tongue at the roof of the mouth. Now we hold breathing out through our nose. Hold. Nice long deep breath. Last deep breath. Breathe in. Okay, hands up. Like this. Okay, good. You see the energy through your palms, top of your head, the bottom of your feet. So you bring it in, you come all the way to the Correction. The fingers is up. Bring it in and out. Ready? Breathe in. Energy from the heavens. Energy from the earth. Energy from the space. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now. Gather the energy from the heavens. Coming from the earth. Bring it up. Gather energy from the heavens. Mixing it together. Bring the energy down to the top of your skull, body, and bring it down and push all the energy through your body. Push out the negativity. The mind is powerful if you think it is. Bring energy out from the ground. The heavens. Bring it down. And the body. Pushing it out like you're pushing water out of your body. Push it down one last time. ABC 1, 2, 3. And up. The top. Heavens. Bring it down to the body. You can so we do 7 cups, right? Okay. I found that interesting because in Jimmy, cop is that earth. So go heel up. Got that? Last one. Breathe in, breathe out. Love yourself. Love yourself. Bring your joy, happiness to yourself. And love you. Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting. Where's the power? Those who don't know, man, mathematical business. Next question, proceeding here. Yesterday was at men's breakfast. It was a limited amount of brothers saying, like, okay, compared to CC. So I would give a chance to speak. Wasn't expected. Here again, the same. Complete confirmation. I've been pushing the plate on how do we advise each state that within the state. As you see, as a demonstration of the how to do what we intellectually think and know. Once again, the confirmation. Simple story. Confirmation. Somehow. Ready?
Yes.
We're all okay. Okay, let me Miss Curtis. No high people hit it. You just come on. Just jump up and say whatever you want to say. That seems a little patronizing. Not a positive reform of patronizing.
Mr. Frog.
It's getting worse by the minute. All right, so let me see how to do it. Sister Queen, can you hear me? Okay. Brother Tyran is sick. I think some got the what they call the Super Bowl Super Bowl Super Bowl bug, you say? Yeah. So let me see. All right. Things right there. Mhm.
She said, still sound shop.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened, honestly. It was all good. I was here till the wee hours in the morning. And it was perfect. I don't know if there's some electrical stuff going on over there. Because really what it is more than choppy. It's a static type of sound. And the
Wow.
and the yeah, it's like we're not using any cables or anything like that. So pardon us with that. And I'm trying to figure out, yeah. So it's pretty choppy. Queen, did you change that? Okay, thank you. All right. So I'm gonna go to my slide to help me along the way. All right. I'm gonna take this right here. And this should not be like this. Okay. Yes. This is where I want to start. I'd like to give all praise to our universal Mother Father, the creator force of the universe. I give honor to our ancestors because it has not been for them that we know us, for the fight that they fought, so we can continue to fight, take on the fight. As I put here, another day for truth, justice, harmony, balance, reciprocity, propriety, and so on. I give reverence to my elders. May I could proceed. All right, thank y'all. Last week we had a pretty interesting conversation. I think it was last week. So we're gonna make this a class, right? So I titled this Umoja Maakheru, restoring intergenerational harmony through truth and unity. Last week, the dear sister and some others, and we had a conversation about the elders and I guess, I don't know, the youth. And it brought some things to my mind, and I guess I want to discuss. I know, some of us are youth over here. And one of the things I thought about is, what is this thing called youth? And how long does it last? You know what I mean? I mean, what is this thing called youth? And how long does it truly last? Parts of it, and without going to my PowerPoint, I think it's an illusion. I think it's an illusion. This tension between what one calls elder and youth. So who is youth? Am I considered youth? So what is this? I mean, everybody tends, I've been doing this thing for a little while. And what I'm saying is, there's always this cycle of someone coming and saying, you know what, the youth don't really follow the youth, you can't connect with the youth, and all these kind of things. I remember our dear brother St. Kofa, when he first came aboard, he had that argument. I'm going to do rap and hip hop to connect with the youth. So it's always this thing about how do you connect with the youth, and how does the youth connect with the elders. You know, one thing I don't hear much about is how the youth connect with the elders. It's typically how do the elders connect with the youth. To me, that's lost. In fact, I don't know what the youth is. I remember, all the way up into my 30s, they were saying, y'all the youth. You know, y'all the youth. And somehow I became 40, and now people are like, hey, I'm 40 something. So there's a little less to that right now. But, you know, the 20-year-olds are saying the 30-year-olds are not really understanding, and the 30-year-olds are saying the 40-year-olds are not understanding, and the 40-year-olds are saying 50 and 60 and above are not understanding. So, you know, so to me, it's not really spelled out, it's not really defined. I think it's more of a delusion, honestly. But I'll talk about, I think there's some reality there, but I also think that there's some serious issues with it. And I think sometimes when we do it, we parrot and repeat things. And sometimes I think we come from our own positioning. And then when we come from our own positioning and our own experiences, what we tend to do is we generalize it across the board. Because to be honest with you, just to be really honest, I've never had a problem with connecting with elders. Personally, I'm talking about whatever age it was. I mean, did I agree with him? No. Did I disagree with him? I really disagree with him. Including my father, right? But the thing is, I never had a problem with other leaders, elders. They still let me have a voice. Now, they didn't always agree, but the reality is they don't have to. In fact, my father said to me, he wanted to fight me in the tax rate. I said, no, Bob, nah, we ain't doing it. And we, you know, called him up, and he said, how can I talk to you, bro? So we got it. I think that's true. Yeah. I'm like talking. I said, so, what? So you can't start it, don't stop it. You want to start it, stop it? But nonetheless. Anyway, you know, at the end of the day, that's my father. You know, I agree with me, and I agree with him. But you know, he ain't look. The problem is, I think, is again, it is a delusion and it's an illusion. So let me go ahead and I'm having trouble with this technology today. So I'm gonna move this keyboard over here. I don't know, playing down, and then the sound start happening. So again, there's an African proverb that says, the hand of the child cannot reach the high shelf, and the hand of the elder is too large to enter the mouth of a gourd. This particular proverb highlights the interdependence between youth and elders and reflects of the collaboration, the necessity for collaboration between the youth and the elders. And I'll see those people in between. So we talk about this disconnect. I will pose that this disconnect that we often speak about has nothing to do with what our ancestors, our elders spoke about when they speak about this generational trauma and how it fractured relationships. I want y'all to really talk to me today, all right? I want y'all to help me out. Talk to me, and I'm gonna pass these mics around just for y'all to have them hand ready now. I don't talk too much now. Just few words at a time, because you know we ain't cooking a lot of time right now. We don't get to the Super Bowl. We see that you may show up. I don't know. Oh, y'all, who are you, man? Give me the. Who are you? All right. Simple. Y'all youthful, huh? The youth. You know, they say, look, it's time for football. I don't know about all that. But anyway, the so-called disconnect between elders and youth, I said neither. This is what I say. It's neither the fault of elders nor the youth. I say it is by design. Systemic forces, oppression, destruction, worsen this divide. Talking about this gourd in its metaphor reminds us of the need of mutual support. So again, I think that often what we do is we tend to point the fingers. We point fingers back and forth. Especially, I'm going to argue that at this point in time, it's being pointed a lot of times at our elders. Now, y'all don't feel that way, but I do. I don't know, some of y'all might feel that. But I think it's more popular to do that. I ask the question why. It's more popular to say that elders are disconnected from the youth. What y'all say?
Well, I don't know if it's said that way or not, but I think it's not true. Because I think the elders are always concerned about longevity and legacy. And we're always wanting to make sure that there's somebody there to carry on what we start, what we try to do, what we believe to be the right thing to do. And we know that it has to be the youth if it's going to be carried on. So I don't think that it's true that we're the ones causing the disconnect. I could say that there's manufactured forces out there that make us not necessarily understand everything that the youth is doing, and we might jump to the conclusion that that can't be right, that would be wrong. But I still think we're trying to connect, even if it's to say to them, that's right, that's wrong. That's not right. Yes.
So you're saying you don't believe that it is. That's probably what I think. So you're saying that. So you're saying that you don't believe that it is that the elders are not trying to connect and reach out.
Correct.
Okay. I saw somebody else that time.
Yeah, I agree with Mama John. If the elders weren't trying to connect with the youth, then we wouldn't be here now. And I come from a background where that respect for the elder was still limited. I personally had no real friction with the youth today or the elders in my younger days. And what was youth? That's an internal concept, and it's akin to hope. Because no matter what a person might be able to walk life, I think they trying to get that hope. So I mean, youth is internal. I'm young to some people here, I'm old to some people. So it's always clear.
I was thinking about the minor. They say give me a child 21 to 7, not 2 years. So my experience is that the way we bring our children up, the reflection of up. However, we exposed to so many things, and we working on trying to get it together, but we are just so elders that has more knowledge and more wisdom, for whatever reason, it's not getting to the children. Because, again, when the children are little, they are taught by religion, school, government, society, and then they make a identity of that. But as they grow older, then I feel like they have to figure it out. At a certain level of consciousness, they are responsible for themselves. But also, we still give them love and support.
Yeah. So I wrote that that's something. I think. Well, check.
What? Yeah. Um, yeah, I think kind of piggybacking on what Sister said is I think the youth, this the disconnect is with the term with what they would call like their experience. Their experience will they don't think their experience connects with someone who would be considered an elder, and it might be a little vice versa, but they don't connect with the just for instance, they don't the youth don't connect with the struggles that like people my age don't connect with the struggles that our grandparents and grandparents. Yeah, they created, or if they have any, they create their own struggles. So I'm getting ahead of myself as I looked at your slide. Is all what I was going to say. It was basically people say, young the youth to say, oh, you don't understand what's going on. You can't understand. Like the elders weren't.
Yeah,
Well, I just have to look over it, but
Just happened to see that in the
yeah,
middle of all those words over there.
yeah.
That's a lot of words.
That's what I think it's experience. So,
Thank you, brother. All right, so as I put it here, I put the idea of a separation between youth and elders is fleeting and only true if we allow it to be. I said it is akin to someone seeking help, but saying this person can't help me. The belief in separation often stems from deeply rooted pain or an unwillingness to open oneself to connection and healing. I don't want to say I do not subscribe to the notion that the divine is permanent. Historically, our culture has always valued the wisdom of elders and the energy of youth working together. This perceived divide is a modern challenge, one that can be overcome through group level work, creating space for dialogue, mutual understanding, and sharing. So let me go back to this. Said this person can't help me. I hear it all the time. You haven't been through what I've been through. You haven't experienced the internet. You haven't experienced this. You have not ever taken drugs. You have not been through trauma. Your mother did not leave you. Your father did not abandon you. Your sister, your cat never died. You never lost a car. You never lost a house. You never lost a wife. And I'm saying this is what people say, and I say it's true if you believe that. If you believe it, it is true. But the reality is we love it's comfortable. It's comfortable being a victim. It's comfortable being the most oppressed. It's comfortable being the person that is more victimized than the other. It's comfortable being no one can when you hear it, no one can understand me means that you are exceptionally oppressed.
I think just observing over the last 20 to 30 years with people who are our juniors, it appears as though the more we assimilate to other people's culture, the further away we get from our relationship with our elders. And the focus becomes more of prestige, making a dollar, and not understanding that everything that we have and that we've acquired is because of what the elders and the ancestors did for us. So I think once we get back to black and understand what that really means, it's not just an outward appearance, but it is a transaction between the mature and the younger, and that will fortify us. Right now, I think a lot of the younger people, the junior people, have been so affected by assimilation that what we have to offer is not necessarily as important today.
That's why they have rights of passage. State, man, about me. John every doctor. It's a bunch of time after they didn't even have to work
Mhm.
or jail.
Mhm.
Each one of these children, have to leave with
Yeah.
something like you.
Mhm.
That's kind of what you go out to school,
Mhm.
you have to throw them away.
Absolutely. And I know we often say that, think about, you know, literally, what's it? But the reality is, some of us are you to others in here still. People say when they get 50, and their grandmother's 80 or 90. Oh, I'm a grown man now. I'm a grown woman. Like, it's like, there's something there that needs healing. There's definitely something there that needs healing. It's so interesting, you know, like, I think part of it is, you know, you deserve respect and all that, but if that is your everything you say it all the time. So, you know, it's indicative with it. I mean, literally, I'm talking about this becomes the narrative, the theme, the motif. It becomes something that you repeat, not just in that situation, but in at different places. And I feel somewhere inside of me that I have never grown up. And I'm going to say that many of us, it doesn't matter what age you are, struggle and can struggle with it. I'm saying at 75, you can say, I'm a grown up now. Of course. So to go back into the gourd, it says the gourd at hand, a lesson of interdependence. It says the gourd represents nourishment, opportunities, responsibilities within a community. The eldest hand being too big symbolizes limitation of tradition and experiencing some tasks requiring flexibility and precision. So the need for the newness, there's a need for the elders and the wisdom, there's a need for all of it, not one or the other or this or that. There has to be collaboration. The use small hands reflect adaptability and the ability to handle finer detail oriented responsibilities. Neither generation can succeed alone. Elders need youth to access the gourd, and the youth need the elders' guidance and support. The metaphor emphasizes humility, collaboration, and the balance of strength and precision in communal work. So I think the role of grace and boundaries. We often act from I said, we often act from our own unhealed wounds.
Right.
I changed it from earlier. I didn't switch it there, but I switched at first. It was speaking more outward. But we often act from our own unhealed wounds. So when I put, I said grace, create space for adults to heal without judgment. Because I'm telling you, the ones who are fighting, that's always necessarily like they're not like 5 years old. They're not 10. So they make it to 15 and 17. That's kind of developmentally appropriate. You want to smell yourself a little bit. But some of us never got to smell ourselves, so at 30 and 40 and 50 and 20 and 60, we still say. I said we have to create boundaries to protect the children while fostering mutual growth. Balance and accountability with compassion is important. Balance and accountability with compassion. Who has some?
Yeah, I like how you brought out the wound, the unhealed wound. A lot of children, even the elders, haven't dealt with the inner wound because all about wisdom. And I always tell my clients that they say, we still, I was raised in this and the other, and I sorry that happened to you, but it's your responsibility to heal from that wound. And that's why a lot of us are acting the way we act, because we haven't got to the deep issue of things. You go to the doctor and you are but that doesn't work. But it's very exciting to know that it was revealed to me, the whole thing is a movie. And it's funny that when you share that with somebody, no, I don't want to go there, no, I don't want to talk about that, even though, you send somebody, a friend or family, really want some kind of trauma, you send some information to them, and they say no. And I'm like, okay, don't let me judge it, right? But it's interesting how we have the tools, but we're just not using it because of those inner child wounds.
Can you say that again?
The inner child wounds.
We're not doing what again? We're not using it?
We're not using it because we're not using the tools because of our inner child wounds. The tools are out there. So we're not using it because I think the reason why we're not using it is because it takes effort. You're going to feel this. You're going to feel this discomfort. But if you go on and say that to the root of it, and it's going to be uncomfortable, true. It's going to be uncomfortable. But the results is going to be everlasting. So that's what I encourage my clients to do. Just look at what it is and just get work with love and compassion towards yourself.
Yes, thank you.
I feel this, socially speaking, nobody ever, as the sister said, nobody gave us therapy after the enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're constantly pushing things down, or masking things, and then when they come up, we don't deal with it. We just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and once we come to the realization to say, you know what, I need some help. Let me figure out how to do this. But sometimes it takes something very drastic for us to say, okay, I'm ready to do the help. But I think that behavior is a learned behavior because of the mask we had to wear, or our ancestors had to wear, just to survive.
Mm.
And then I also feel too, I don't know if you grew up with this, but I did. What goes on in this house stays on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a learned behavior of masking and pressing down things that we need to bring to the light for healing.
I think what I don't want to say amazes me, but I'll say surprises me is the fact that social media now has people almost bragging about the ones. You know, they're putting everything out there for everybody to hear and see and read about, but at the same time, it's not being healed. You know, it's like they're bragging about it and using it as a crutch or something.
Yeah, so can you give me an example of what that looks like?
What it looks like to me is, I'll say, young ladies.
No, I see he like the most beautiful in the room, so I'm like, come on up here, brother.
No, I think a lot of times, girls especially, will talk about things that have happened to them, but they'll talk about it in a way that makes you feel like I'm mad, I'm mean, I'm hateful. You know, the B did this, or and come on over here, B, we gonna get this down. But they're not talking about how this made me feel. They're just talking about it like it's something I'm gonna get even with you about. Maybe I'm gonna hurt you back, but they're not talking about actually trying to heal themselves.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I was hoping that well, maybe we can do this again, but I really did want to have a discussion, right? And people on all different perspectives, right? And it's real. Yes, bro, I think you're about to hear about something.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So, two things. Like, I agree with that, and I believe what is going on, especially using the word culture, it's this new social media culture has a whole different thing going on. And like you said, it's people are putting their issues out there and all of their trauma and things like that. It just seems like they're not actually looking for help. They're looking for attention. So attention is monetary in the social media world. So people are making money off of attention. And that goes to my second point where what Sister was saying, like the actual that people don't realize how much energy and money is put into curbing those feelings of those situations of people trying to help. So they'll push all the opposite beliefs, like you believe, if you believe in a certain thing, or things that, even if we believe things from our elders, there's a lot of energy that's used to make that a negative thing. And me and Pablo was talking earlier, it's like, if you think about certain people practicing certain ways, just to connect with who they believe God is, people say, oh, that's voodoo, or somebody put roots on it, or these things like that. So that's the culture thing. It's like those people aren't willing to, somebody could be there to help you, pray over you, or don't let them pray over you. That's they praying some negative stuff over. That's evil. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the point I just want to make.
Speaking of culture, I have here, culture can be understood as a collective blueprint of community. A system of shared values, beliefs, customs, practices, and traditions that shape the way individuals and groups live, think, and interact. One of the struggles I think we have is that no one wants to be, everyone wants to be unique. Everybody wants to be unique. I think Dr. Amos Wilson speaks about this thought about everyone wants to be, pardon me, Israel. So everyone wants to be unique. Dr. Amos Wilson said the purpose of culture. He said culture is a set of rules and procedures for meeting needs. Ultimately, culture is supposed to solve problems. And you talk about the social media culture, where even if they're not making money, the attention alone is capital to them. Because the attention gives them validation. Because another thing is what happens is we struggle so much with self-esteem that we look for validation in any kind of way we can get it. And the problem with that is you'll never get enough if you don't heal those wounds. And that's a lot of work. And in social media pays, that also does something for you. It inflates your ego. Not just, it doesn't elevate your esteem. It inflates your ego. And it says, look, I'm successful. That's another issue I think we have. I'm successful. What are you going to tell me, old person? I made money. What do you want to tell me? I have a degree. What do you want to tell me? I have 3 cars. What do you want to tell me? In fact, the reality is, many of us, as I often speak about, don't even know what the elders have done, what they experienced, the many trips they taken, that they was did all types of things. And I think it's important that the elders share these things, because sometimes I'm telling you, we wake up, I'm talking about everybody younger, it has to be very intentional to think about or ask a question about that person's history. It's so easy to give reverence to Dr. King and Malcolm X and so on and so forth, but we truly don't respect those in front of us the same way. In fact, I think we got to speak about it a little bit more. We have to speak about it. Dr. Amos Wilson said it teaches us how to interact with our environment and each other, shaping individual and collective identity. Dr. Dr. Amos Wilson says there's no such thing as an individual without the collective. There's no such thing as an individual identity without the collective. In fact, you can't have it. Thank you. Like, what she do? Thank you. I've been on some interviews and the whole time I'm wondering, like, why y'all tell me this? You know, thank you very much. So yeah, so that's what Dr. Amos Wilson says, y'all. I think I heard you about to say something about the vote.
Yeah, okay. I have to give credit to the youth that do not look up to the elders. And that credit is in, although they know that they may have an issue or trauma or generational trauma, whatever the case may be, they don't see going to therapists or those individuals that help them to gain a viable, positive option or alternative to confront what they're dealing with.
Help me understand what you said. You say you have to give credit for those who don't look up to the elders, but you said they don't see therapy as a viable option.
Yeah, no, but they know they had trauma, like they do, like they know they had trauma, but they don't see how to combat or confront or address that trauma in a positive way.
Yeah.
Specifically in terms of what you do and what the system does in terms of working with people like this.
Yeah, I would think I would argue that the youth are more likely to seek therapeutic practice than the elders one. We can say that, right? I think we agree on that. But I think also in that the problem becomes that the therapists themselves, from my standpoint, train to really build up our community. They train to teach people how to be individualistic in a sense. You can only worry about yourself. You can, it's like whatever the reigning paradigm is what it's taught. In fact, it often doesn't look at the greater systemic issues. So when we talk about a lot, I'm telling you, this is what everybody's woke right now. I don't really know woke. And I think, well, honestly, I won't have struggle with the word woke. I'm not saying it was back from Dr. Boyce and all. I'm not saying that because that ain't what we using. I'm sorry, pardon me. That's not what you use. They can go back and try to say this is fake, how you did it. It skipped some steps in black consciousness and all that. When I heard people say, well, my students in school, and I heard another, and it's good. That just means they realize that oppression is over. People are oppressed. All types of groups are oppressed. Men, women, transsexuals, all types of things. People, midgets, people are oppressed. But they lack black consciousness, I say. They lack black consciousness and cultural orientation. You can be woke, but it does nothing for you on a, well, actually, in some ways, from not just my hypothesis, but from my research and other research, if you know all this oppression going on, you like culture, you're probably more likely to be, well, look, y'all say arrogant part of the problem, and guess why? Because you, first of all, your nervous system is right. You struggle with mental health. You're struggling with anxiety, depression, and all. I'm talking about not just regular. I'm talking about from this very system itself that you feel overwhelmed with. You have all this information, but you don't have a culture to help you guide yourself along the way. You know what I'm saying? You're just out here. You say, what is it? We outside? You guys, you and the elder divide. You know, what want to say? We outside. You know what I'm saying? So we outside, but we have no culture. We're outside, but we're doing things to say I can be free on an individual level, not a collective level. I can freely drink. I can freely FUCK. I can freely do what I want to do. That is wokeness. I'm not saying there's no other definitions of it. I am not saying that I can't even
with some of the tenets. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have cultural and historical perspective, it does no good. Many of us are walking around, even with the red like green on, and really with the unks on, and with the the earth tones and all these type of things, and the earth tones and all these type of things. But the reality is, these are just aesthetics. But you ask them what they know about it, they don't know much about it. And if you're not culturally oriented or grounded, this world is going to eat you alive internally. In fact, it eats us alive collectively. So we culture, and I know we continuously say culture. If you talk about healing on an individual level and on a collective level, but you're not talking about culture, especially for us, you're not being serious.
All cultures condition the people. All cultures condition the people that belong to them. All cultures ultimately must have some means of rewarding and punishing behavior. And that's another thing we don't want to face, We want everybody to do right just because it means doing right. And this is what I said earlier when we talk about
They're feeling like they're woke and no better than us. And it might just be a thing that they're just as tore up on the inside as we are feeling like we are. Mm-hmm. But because of what I call arrogance or whatever, maybe it's not really arrogance, maybe it's just confusion for them that they don't want other people to see, so they're hiding. I'm saying that what I might be calling arrogance might not be arrogance at all. It might just be a method of hiding confusion and whatever's going on inside of them. And I'm thinking, okay, you consider yourself woke and you consider what we did as insufficient or outdated, outmoded, but still, you're having the same problems that we are, but you're just trying to cover. I don't know if we can understand.
No, I think like.
I think a lot of that is rooted in just being in the two C's, like comfortability and convenience. And we have the society with what we're living in now, this 500 or 600 years of westernized thinking is always about convenience and how comfortable we can be. Now, historically, going back into the research that I did is that, people have African culture, we work together, we build for the community, and sometimes it was rough, it was tough, but we made each other tough by putting those tough standards on each other. And like I said, the westernized society that we live in today transcends even into quote unquote wokeness. It's like you're woke when you're convenient enough to be woke. When somebody puts pressure on you, then you can't even stand on that wokeness. You can't even stand on you're pressured to crack and say, oh, I really mean that. I'm sorry, maybe I don't feel that way. So, we're really under the influence of this westernized type of thinking. And when we come out of that, which I believe is changing now, I really believe it's transitioning over. Mm-hmm. But I think we're caught in that, and that thing is just being so comfortable to say. So we're Christian when it's comfortable to be Christian. We're not, if somebody says, oh, you need to pray as well, you need to give up this. Oh, no. Jesus came to forgive us for that so we can get away. You know what I mean? So that's just a little example. I think maybe you talked about that a few weeks ago. I was kind of.
Yes, sir. And thank you for that. And I think for Mom and Donnie's comment, I think that's absolutely 100%. People aren't necessarily arrogant for no reason at all. It's always coming something else is trying to adapt to a thing. And that's the best way they can do at this time to naturally have to tell themselves certain things about themselves to help them feel better about themselves, and to really not be so sensitive to other people, you know. So whatever it is, but if a person is outwardly just arrogant, disrespectful, hostile, there's something going on inside of them. You know, it's not. It's without a doubt, it's both. It presents itself as arrogance. It presents itself as anger. It presents itself as hostility, animosity, resentment, just all types of things. But it's really a person that's fearful inside and hurt. And I'm saying, look, so again, I don't want, when I say youth in this particular case, I'm not even putting age on it. Again, I'm saying that there's a little youth in all of us that like to have tantrums. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there's a little youth in some of us that never ever been fed. And it's out of order. And when you don't have culture, it just magnifies. And then when you don't have culture, it's all about you, what you want to do. And this is the struggle that we have in our society where people can say, "Y'all just don't understand." As if you, like people, I don't think people really realize when you're a little younger than the generation before you, how close that really was. Like I was 15 when I had you, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? You think I was like an old person when I push you out? Yeah, I did that too.
Oh, no. Just this week, I was with my children there. Yeah, it was his acting, right? And so I sit down and talk to him, and I was telling him, I'm your elder.
You shouldn't work with, not your, not
Exactly. Yeah, I'm exclusive to that. And, so, you know, my children, and I was telling them, you know, there's no way that I had to tell them he was just acting off camera, you know what I'm saying? So we sat down, we talked, and I told him about, you know, the movements that we did, the margin, everything we did, and he didn't know. Mm-hmm. They didn't have an idea, so that's just the neck right there. And even respect is that, like, how can you have respect for an elder and you don't know the road to be bad for you? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the disconnect right there.
Absolutely.
But I did tell him that day. Yeah. That's all I was saying. You got to tell him.
And it's probably bigger than the historical figures. Because everybody has historical.
You know what? And that's so I said they named Harriet Tubman. They named everybody that it was given. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And so I named some more for them. Yeah. It was big, but it turned out to be well.
You are historical figures. I think we really need to share these things. Sometimes we share knowledge, but we ain't sharing experience. We share something we learned on the internet, but we ain't sharing our walk, our talk, how we got through it, what happened, my good time, my bad time, all of the above. Mommy, Dad?
Yeah,
Pass the mic.
I can use myself as a perfect example of that because when I think of myself, okay, I think of everything that I've been through, and I just was thinking about it one day. I'm always talking about my granddaughter, you know, and what the realization came to me that she don't even really know me. You know, she knows this old woman that's sitting around can't move, get around. But when I'm trying to relate to her, I'm relating from everything that I've known. You know, and she don't know nothing about that. She only met me 8 years ago.
Absolutely. And you talking about your granddaughter. And that's at least some years ago. And some of us, a lot of us struggle with our own children, right? And some of us had our children who was 15, so 12, man. And you know, all this thing, they think the generation is so far, like, you grew up in the Stone Age or Stonehenge, and you were with the Egyptians, and you know, they like literally just you
well, sure, I was around in Harriet
Marcus Garvey, everybody, right? You was Marcus Garvey's assistant. You know, that was close. real recent. But y'all wasn't around when Martin Luther King was doing his thing either, right? He was probably a child when Dr. King was doing his thing. You gotta put it in perspective. Like, hold on, I wasn't really holding hands with Dr. King. I heard Paul say last week, I went down to the King March. He didn't mean like that. Follow the country, so he gave me a lot of words. Because you gotta put in the caps. He said, yeah, we went down to march with King all the time. Like, okay, what he meant was, I believe, what he meant was for his birthday, right? The march to make his birthday a holiday, right? See, you left out a lot of things. He wasn't marching with King. It was big.
Hey, I was just walking, trying to explore my neighborhood because I'm used to it. And so I saw the drums, and I decided to look in the door because I'm interested in the drums. It wasn't like a march for King, not necessarily King, but in those days, all the churches across the country, black churches, had marches. And had young people participating in those marches in their city. It was a widespread movement. It wasn't just King. It was the deacons and the elders and the preachers in the churches who organized in their communities. I speak with authority on that because I was there. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, so we had that in Charleston. I was in the military in '68 when King was murdered in Omaha, Nebraska, and we fighted in Omaha. So what I'm saying is maybe he wasn't good King actually, but he probably was King.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. But I'll come on actually. Yeah. But I get what you're saying now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I actually sent myself to the Million-Man March with the brothers in our community.
I went too. That make me old now.
Yeah.
I was doing baby.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
I remember as a child, my parents going to the March on Washington, and the level of excitement because some of their different friends came in, and I never will forget that because the vibration of Black people were raised to a whole entirely different level with the promise that change was coming and that they were the ones that were going to make the difference. So even though I was a child, I wasn't able to go. I remember the excitement and the activity of my parents and their friends.
Yeah. The stories about him. I never forget the day he was going to Million-Man March. He's like, how's it gonna be? How's it gonna be? I'm like, I can't really describe it. But it's the feeling that you can see, of unity. That there's no words for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know when he felt it. I think he felt it when he came. I know he felt better when he came back. He passed it all day long.
Just one other thing.
You come in strong. Welcome home.
Yeah, I've been on this march, this movement, since I've been at least 15. I'm 77.
Oh,
right. Right. So, after I got out of the military, I went to St. Louis and I joined a group called BAG. Back on this. And that's what I worked. I worked with education. That's the money of all the Black people companies that was coming across the country. Because we were at war, but we knew we had to educate us, And so I heard you talking about culture. There was an effort to destroy cultural things in the 70s, And so that's part of what I think we need to address. How that's done and why it's being done, because young people are being affected by that, because the money is thrown at them all the time. When they look at an older person trying to bring him around, they don't see any
progress because they think in terms of money. And so that's I go on the street corner sometimes and I say, hey, don't you guys want to know
why you in this situation, why you here? Yeah. And most of them will listen, no matter what they're doing.
the same route or whatever.
Right.
If they feel they get ready to get the answer, you will have their ear. That's all.
Let me get through the rest of these slides and we're gonna close them out. So I want to play this.
All cultures condition. All cultures condition.
I mean, I really want to play that.
All cultures condition the people. All cultures condition the people that belong to them. All cultures ultimately must have some means of reward. All cultures condition the people that belong to them. All cultures ultimately must have some means of rewarding and punishing behavior. And that's another thing we don't want to face, you know. We want everybody to do right just because it means doing right. And this is what I said earlier when we talk about these conspiracies and the boule. You're not going to win this game if you don't have a means of neutralizing people and rewarding people. All cultures condition the people that belong to them. All cultures condition the people that belong to them. All cultures ultimately must have some means of rewarding and punishing behavior. And that's another thing we don't want to face, you know. We want everybody to do right just because it means doing right. And this is what I said earlier when we talk about these conspiracies and the boule. You're not going to win this game if you don't have a means of neutralizing people and rewarding people.
Yeah, we don't think about that. Before you go, Bob, I thought some mixed feelings, so I want to hear that first. Not you. You said
it's true. I like to hear people that have opposition.
Roll flag, you got an egg, roll.
It's someone who disagree, not you. What you got? You don't know, okay. All right. She only want to grab the mic. Reflect on it. So what he says, somebody reflect on what Baba just said.
I think he's talking about the old ladies. I'm just finding out about it. Everybody don't know about the black people.
He wasn't speaking. Hold on. He wasn't speaking about the book. He mentioned the bootleg, but that's a different conversation. But when he really said, because he said something early in that lecture, he said there's always going to be this and that, and caught up in that too much. I think that stays for us to reflect on. But what he was saying, though, is that
as culture, there's a need for a reward system and a punishing system. There has to be a system that can reinforce how we operate, how we treat one another, how we engage with one another. We have to have sanctioning ability if we are to have a culture as black people in America that can contend or even exist within the frame that we find ourselves in, or will continue to get the same things we get because the quote-unquote dominant culture is the culture that rewards the very people that we are trying to work with. And we understand there's a reward going on right now. It don't have none of the people under 40 up here. Okay, up in here. I think they'll say something different, but I understand it's true. But that's a fact. So, from my standpoint, when I'm talking about you, I'm even talking about people my age. Because the people my age are talking about people older than them. So, what I'm saying is, okay, Bob, we're back. You said you wanted to say something?
I will say you got it. What was yours?
But I've been studying this and going through this for a long time. And reward, first we have to understand what is what is outcome.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, I've been in the military for years or more, but I know that when you look at what happens when the military goes in, they destroy certain infrastructure of the people.
Mm-hmm.
They're changing that culture right there. I mean, having things that we do, our habits, but our habits are reinforced by our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to put an environment in place, or attempt to put environments in place that help us to shape our culture, or the culture of the next generation. That's the way. I don't want to go any further than that because the bottom line is a change. We don't control our politicians.
Yeah.
The other group controls the politicians for that very reason. They are not protected. And so they submit to the other people because their people are not protected in that spot. So our culture, back in the day, we had culture because everybody in the community reinforced your child's behavior. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that was.
I think we still have culture. As Dr. Amos Wilson said, though, back in the day and even now, what we deal with is we do have culture, have culture, and have beautiful culture. He said even, and actually, which is have messages of African culture. But he said the reality is we cannot deny the aspects of Eurocentric culture that really that impacts the culture that we have that really causes these things. So the question about whether or not did you have something? The question about whether or not we need to have in our culture built in it the ability to punish and reward, I think that's a sticky one for many of us. I think when we talk about a real culture, when we talk about really making and bringing about change, we don't want to do that with any rules. We don't want to do that with rules.
And
I was wondering.
oh,
Around them people like transformative. Afro-sex, okay, yeah. See, because the other system rewards you. Right.
I just think that our reward is just like you said, our reward is we don't accept our own reward of punishment. We tend to, our mind is trained to accept what the people with quote unquote the people who consider themselves empowered rewards or punishment. Like we don't not us in here, but as a whole, you'll have people say things like, "Oh man, turn that music down, man. What white people gonna think about that?" You understand what I'm saying? "Oh, why you dress? Oh man, I ain't gonna put that sign in my yard. These white people around here gonna get mad about that." I had a friend who wouldn't put up who he was voting for and all. I mean, that's just your personal thing. That's your yard. That's just, and these white people around here going, I don't know what they'll do around here. They got guns. I'm like, come on, bro. So it's like, we don't accept everyone. If they say it's like, oh, it's cool. That's a cool black guy. He cool. But like you said, in our own culture, if we say, especially with the youth, it's like if we say something that's almost on this, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. He too deep. You too deep for me, brother. So it's just little things like, just my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go over this, but how many people have heard about enculturation? What is enculturation?
Understand what I heard.
So you too far from the board this time. I just read the top one. Enculturation refers to the process by which individuals learn to and internalize their native culture
from birth, typically through family, elders, and community, right? And what we find out is what we have is, when we in a society like the U.S., acculturation, which refers to the process of adapting to or borrowing elements from another culture, often as a result of prolonged exposure or external pressure. Say it again.
Speak for your last definition.
Enculturation refers to the process by which individuals learn and internalize their native culture from birth, typically through family, elders, and community. And when we're in a society where the dominant culture is something other than our own, we definitely struggle with actually being cultured by our native culture, because the dominant culture actually acculturates us, which is acculturation refers to the process of adopting to or borrowing elements from another culture, often as a result of prolonged exposure or external pressure. So that external pressure is really important, right? And what possibly can happen as a result of that is individualism can overshadow collective responsibility. When we're in a culture that's individualistic versus a culture that's collectivistic. I like to say they're collectivistic for their own agenda. You know, so we fall into the case that we can be free individuals while they collectively build their own empire.
How is there a difference between what it calls nation?
Say it again.
What's the term again? What's the term?
Enculturation or culturation?
Is that similar to assimilation?
Well, assimilation
In this regard.
assimilation is the act of assimilating into a culture, right? Is it in a greater culture, the dominant culture, what have you? Many times at the expense of your home, right? It's the act of doing the thing. You know, you can do that consciously if you want to. You can come from another culture where you've been enculturated and come here and assimilate. Yes, the same, but they avert, they you know, I'm looking for the term. Yes. So I put here, this final slide, it's over. So I said, I put here, remember how are the children, Dr. Jody Bruce speaks about, in Africa, South Africa, Zulu, they always ask about how are the children. You heard the term? I can't think about how they said it in native tongue right now. You know what? Kind of going to something. I can't go. Well, I'm talking like the native language, how you say that, but nonetheless, translated in our language, we say how are the children, and it said that is a term that you often hear in amongst the Zulu people, and they will ask you that. So, and how are the children? And how are the children? So my point of that is, I think our traditional culture, I think it makes room for the children. It makes room for the youth. In this particular society, youth, but elders even more, are discarded. You're not looked at as being needed. That's just a part of the society, and we can't deny that. This society sees elders as less valuable. There's something called ageism, and people struggle to maintain jobs. They struggle to get jobs. They struggle to do certain things because those who are seniors or youth who are going and applying for the jobs and getting the jobs, and It's not the youth is the problem, it's the system itself. Sometimes you lose job because you have too much knowledge, you make it too much money. But in a capitalistic system where people tend to struggle with the reality capitalism doesn't really work that well for us, the collective, because it does these type of things. It makes you make decisions off the bottom lines. And people will argue that capitalism is the best system, but people's quality of life in America is horrible. Whether or not we have comfort creatures and toys, we need all those toys to deal with our reality. I say here, elders and youth must work together for mutual success. But here, let's rebuild trust, fostering healing, and transform pain into progress. Together, we can ensure a thriving future for the next generation. And I wish that I did this presentation another way with a more, I might just build on it. Today, the energy is a bit, interesting because there's a lot of different things. But I like to have a conversation. I really would like to have this conversation. Because really, honestly, I think a lot of the people who needed to really hear this today are here. And those who, not to say anybody couldn't get anything out of it, but per se, but or some reflection or some insight or something to consider. But I definitely know that people who people in certain age groups, including my own age group, believe that people older than them just don't get them, just don't understand. They overlook people. And I know people younger than me look at me the same way. You know what I mean? And the problem with that is not so much that I feel overlooked. The problem is that it limits their own success. One thing I learned early on is why would I want to repeat something if I can learn from somebody who went there before me? And I know a lot of people, they don't think that way. But I also see how it's limited them because they have to do everything over again. Some people say he'll learn. He got to get a cow before he knows beef. You know, you have to do all these things versus picking up where those who came before you left off. I think that's problematic. So we'll perhaps in this conversation again with it, more people attended to the interview a little different as it relates to the conversation. Peace. OPM. Other people's money? What's that? Yeah, other people. Other people. Take care. Queen, I had thank you, Queen. I had this thing worked out, Queen. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I was up last night. Queen, I was up last night. It was clear. I think DJ Carlos came in here with all his lectures. I don't know what happened either. You know what, though? I don't know. When I put all this stuff, it's so good to.
But what was that? You said audio was being chopped? You said audio was chopped?
Yeah, it's almost like if you look at how sometimes it sounds like there's a noise cancellation feature on it, but it's also like if the game is too high sometimes it flicker.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was thinking. But there's no way to put the mic on that one to turn it down.